Hey guys, this is Daxter609, or now known as Dax Sin Punisher, or the Vanu's Punisher. And I'm going to discuss a serious topic today, since over the summer I've been feeling very depressed. I'm going to be discussing Aspergers, since I never really mentioned this, but I have Asperger's syndrome. I'm just gonna do a little playthrough while I talk about it. Now, having Asperger's syndrome, I notice how people behave around us. I would say that I'm fed up with people because I notice their behavior. It's becoming really, I don't know what you consider, like judgmental, superstitious, fake, and I notice I get ostracized a lot just because I'm very different. It seems like no matter what I do, I'm always singled out for being that different. Like, oh, look at a weird kid. Like, heck, I can remember in middle school with the whole emo fad, I was not participating in it. I was just doing my own thing. I wasn't trying to be an emo. Really didn't care about the trends or fads that were going on. So that made me stick out a lot, which I really couldn't see. At first, when I was younger, people would think that I had some poor anger management and was just shy. Then in high school, it started getting more and more serious, to the point where doctors figured out that I had Asperger's syndrome. And ever since I found out I had Asperger's syndrome, it helped me deal with my problems more, since I could get the help I needed. But I still feel like I just can't put up with people's bullcrap anymore. Because I've really noticed people's behavior. Like, people these days will judge you really quickly. And people these days really crave power, for crying out loud. I don't understand why people crave power so much, especially over other people. I just simply want to live a happy life. But these type of people are just really ruining it. This is why I kinda don't like to talk to people. It's one of my problems as being an Aspie. And I think this is a real serious problem, because I'm like a very nice person in general, but people keep pushing my buttons. Like the last job I worked at, I was ready to beat the crap out of my boss. People really can't seem to understand other people's boundaries. And they say people with Asperger's are the ones that lack social skills, when it seems to be everyone today that lacks social skills. Especially neurotypical people, which is what we Aspies would like to call people that talk. People that are normal and understand social cues. Which is another thing, like as an Aspie, I never really got slang. And it usually took me a while. Like I'd hear kids say like mackin' or swag or I don't know, OD. Never really understood the slang. I didn't understand people's body language for a while. Like I can understand it now, but sometimes it's pretty oblivious to me. I still have the social problems, like I can't do small talk, which I still think is very pointless and boring. I don't understand why people value small talk. I don't want to talk about the stupid weather. I can turn on the channel 5 news or channel 12 news, since I live in the Bronx. But no, people just seem to be really... I see people make big conversations out of the most irrelevant crap. And I noticed that a lot of conversations seem to be revolving around talking behind people's backs, like telling their secrets, saying how you hate this person yet you smile when they're around you, how people gossip, talk about celebrity gossip, which is I find very irrelevant and distracting people from what's really going on. Like, for crying out loud, the Obama administration revived part of the SOPA laws, even though they opposed SOPA during the election because it was considered trendy. But I don't want to get into that political crap. I like to keep an open mind about my surroundings and who I talk about. And people in general just seem very narcissistic, over-opinionated, They seem to have this very macho attitudes nowadays, like as if they're all bullies. I just can't function around people anymore. That's why I spent my whole summer indoors playing video games, watching anime, managed to catch up on One Piece, stuff like that. And it seems that as an Aspie, I feel like a sane person in a crazy world. Well, people just see me as a crazy person in a sane world. Well, I think it's the other way around. Since not being very social, I really observe what's around me. Like I said, I observe people and I realize, my God, I am so lucky I don't socialize with people. I avoid so many social conflicts by not hanging out with these two-faced people. I just had some water. Now, I'm kind of concerned about where my life is going, since my Asperger's syndrome became a real problem for me since I worked at a daycare this summer. Kind of didn't end well since they were pressuring me into socializing, since I noticed in this day and age that people value social skills more than your productive skills. Which is probably a reason why corporations are starting to fail, because they just choose the talkative person and not the person that can get their crap done. I just don't get why people value socializing so much. Most of the time I just find it useless. Unless I'm doing communication like teaming. Like trying to be a team member. Like, hey, I have this strategy, let's go do it. I'm not gonna go like, hey, did you see how Miley Cyrus was twerking? Yeah, let's talk about that for the next 28 hours. No, I don't do that. I would have something more serious to talk about. I also noticed that I kind of have this kind of craving to do different special interests, which is like another aspect of people with Asperger's. Like for 2 years I was crazy about baking. Now I'm crazy about fashion, but not as crazy as I've been buying stuff that people won't consider fashionable. Just being an Aspie in general just feels a little threatening. I don't know what neurotypical people do, or neurological people, but I kind of feel like they're the ones with the problems, since in this day and age, neurological people just don't seem to actually get it. I see a lot of narcissistic behavior from people nowadays, sociopathic, whatever. And again, like I said, I'm glad I don't socialize with people because I avoid all this drama bullcrap. I see people explode over the littlest things. Like one guy was ready to beat the crap out of some girl over some crap she said to him. Meanwhile, I'm the one with the social disorder, and yet I have the thicker skin. This is what's funny. And sometimes as an Aspie, I come off as rude since I don't talk to people. Since I don't get why people crave socializing so much. I come off as rude or disrespectful. Sometimes I just can't help it. I don't talk, or I say the wrong things, or something I don't consider mean or inappropriate or anything, but people take it that way. So I have a hard time controlling that. And at this point, I'm just thinking, fuck people. Let these troglodytes burn in their little delusion that they believe is their real world, while I go try to solve all my problems and fix myself. In fact, why am I trying to fix myself for these people? I think they're the ones with the problems. They can't seem to... It seems like if you go a day without talking to your friend, they'll go crazy thinking that you're ignoring them or something. I don't have the craving to talk to you constantly. For example, I have an Asperger friend. We don't really care that we don't talk to each other much, but we do it whenever we can. We went a whole month without talking to each other, but it didn't bother either of us, because we don't seem to crave other people's attention like neurological people would. And I know I'm the complete opposite of my younger sister, who is very extroverted. She socializes a lot, but gets into a lot of trouble. I'm antisocial, and I get into very little trouble. However, I noticed that whenever I make mistakes, Even though they're like the teeny tiniest mistakes, people blow up over them. Yet, I see like people punching babies, cursing out old people, yada yada yada. Yet, I do this one little thing, not intentionally, and I'm suddenly the most evil person in the world. Well, you know what? Fuck you people. You're probably wondering where serial killers come from. Because society creates people like us because you put too much pressure on us. Funny thing I find about people with autism is why NT people really don't like us, or neurotypical people don't like us, because we're very different. Like, we don't conform to their social standards. Like I said, I didn't follow any of the fads in middle school or elementary school, and I'm still not doing it in high school. I'm just like doing my own thing. I'm not a swagget or any of that. I might even be considered a trend starter to some people for what I'm wearing, but I noticed that people with autism, ADHD, Aspergers, you can't control them. Like, I noticed when people try to control me through intimidation or calling me out, all they're doing is feeding a fire inside me to repent them. I'm not going to do what you say if you talk to me in that manner, or try to make me your little bitch. It doesn't work like that with us. That's kind of why I didn't work in my last job very well. My supervisor was trying to control me like I'm his toy. Didn't work very well. Once the intimidation made me unintentionally resist his behavior and do the exact opposite of what they want. I also hate people, neurotypical people can't seem to realize their behavior and how they're reacting to other people. Like, the kids can't seem to realize that you're bitching at someone, and at any moment that person you're bitching at can just go ape shit crazy and beat you up. But that's not really something to talk about. And I noticed something about neurotypical people. These days, they're judgmental, over-opinionated, power trips, hypocritical, double standards, all that. Yeah, I have a little bit of trouble talking, so yeah, about that. People with Asperger's, we're just kind of doing our own thing and not just following the social norms. Sometimes I may unintentionally piss someone off or hurt their feelings, but if I realize I do it, I will try my best to apologize and make it up to them. But gee, some people will hold it against you for the rest of their life. Like, for crying out loud. Again, I'm the one with the social disorder. Suck it up. I have a lot more to deal with than you people. You'll probably get over it in a day. It'll haunt me for the next 5 years of my life. And I think that neurotypical people should be trained on how to handle people with autism. Like I worked at a daycare. They didn't know how to handle the ADHD kid. They thought their solution was just to simply just yell at the kid when it really wasn't going to do anything, since after all, ADHD, hyperactive, they're in their own little world. And the funny thing is, I had a better time trying to communicate with the kid, since I don't know, since people with Asperger's have traits of people with ADHD, but only as kids, and we grow out of it. And I think I like having Asperger's. It makes me feel like a very unique person. Since I started developing special interests like animation, as you can tell by my old stick figure animations, which I consider crap now, but people were impressed by me trying to do something very different. And yeah, special interest. Don't conform to society standards, or I'm not really part of a clique. Yeah, I'm very social awkward. Anyways, I feel like at this point in my life, I'm 17 years old. Since June, I basically have fucked people. I'm learning how to communicate with people more, but I still feel like they're trying to turn me into something I cannot be. Like my guidance counselor, he was pretty insensitive to the fact I had autism. Like, he would try to just say, just talk! just talk. I'm trying to talk, but you are not helping. I have to... People don't seem to have the patience for me. And I don't feel like I can tolerate people's bullcrap anymore. Especially noticing the narcissistic behavior from most neurotypical people I come into contact with. I'm not generalizing all neurotypical people, but I run into this group a lot. And it's only motivating me to be less social, since I basically spent my summer indoors doing what I enjoy, my hobbies. And I feel that being alive is more of a curse than a blessing at this point. So I will probably discuss my problems in later videos, so bye.